Esteemed audience, from time immemorial, disagreements have been known to disunite man.
But here on the Great Debaters Contest, we bring together over 500 schools across 10 regions on one debate platform. This is Western Region, Kakamega County. I am your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperancia Kapanga. Today's motion states, strict age regulations should be enforced to ensure youth get leadership positions.
Proposing this motion are the ladies from Cecilia Nangina Girls High School.
And in the opposition, we have Lugulu Girls High School. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to make your case.
Great minds often face opposition from mediocre minds. That's why I, Yvonne Fanis Milimu, from the great St. Cecilia Nangina Girls, a harbour of integrity, I'm a strong protagonist of the motion that states that strict age regulation should be enforced to ensure youths get leadership position. What do I mean by the term strict? Strict is something that should be followed exactly the way it's supposed to be. Regulation is an official rule made by the government or any other authority. A youth is a person confined between the age of 15 to 35 years. Leadership is the state of being a leader. Youths are the bedrock for economic growth, social and political. It is high time we place leadership into the hands of the youth. And I have emphasized the point that it is high time. There is lack of youth representation in the continent. And there is lack of youth representation also in key strategic positions. What do I mean by key strategic positions? The positions like the political positions, the managerial positions, or any specific organization there is. And I'll give an example of South Africa. South Africa is a youthful nation. It is estimated that more than 36% are youth, and this is according to the africanews.com. And when they enforced this strict age regulation, it brought a lot of benefit to South Africa, and right now it's a developing country. I'll give an example of Intumeleg Sube, who's a 21-year-old. Remember I said that a youth is a person between the age of 15 to 35 years. So obviously I mean that Honorable Sube is a youth person. He's the youngest South African legislature and is also a member of parliament who's representing youths very well in South Africa. Youths grow and contribute as active citizens through service and leadership. There's a proposition that in the business, social and political areas to reserve valuable young leaders into future leadership roles that never come to existence. I am tired of it and every day waking up and hearing that youths are the leaders of tomorrow. When will the tomorrow ever lead? If there are no restrictions for the youths to enter into leadership positions. When will we ever get a governor, a senator who's below 35 years? Youths have the ideas. Youths are productive. So that's why I say that when Kenya puts strict age regulations into the system, youths will be able to lead Kenya to a better place. That's why I propose the motion that states that strict age regulation should be enforced to ensure youths get leadership positions. I rest my case.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes to make your submissions.
Strict age regulations should be enforced to ensure youth get leadership positions. According to the Merriam-Webster Online, a regulation is an authoritative rule. It is an order issued by a government agency after having the force of law. On the other hand, leadership is the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. The first proposer defined a youth as any person between 15 years and 34 years. But Article 260 of the Kenyan Constitution defines a youth as a person aged between 18 years to 34 years. Anybody that is 15 years of age is a minor. I stand here to firmly debunk the motion that strict age regulations should be enforced to ensure that youth get leadership positions. This is because people advanced in age are more experienced. Please take note that I've said they are more experienced. When you compare a person who is a young person and a person who is advanced in age, it is so evident that this person advanced in age is more experienced than the person who is younger. Why? This person advanced in age, he has lived more, he has lived longer, and he has experienced life. He has tasted it, and he actually knows what is expected of life. So to cite an example of Kofi Annan, I believe most of us, if not all of us, have heard of Kofi Annan, right? He was the UN General Secretary, and he won a Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2001. As you all know, nothing comes on a silver platter, right? So, Kofi Annan, he contributed to worldly peace. And I want you to take note that it is through this worldly peace that our own country, Kenya, got to be a beneficiary of it. Let me take you back to the post-election violence in the year 2008. Kofi Annan, he chipped in and he arbitrated between Kibaki and Raila. And for that matter, we had a coalition government with Kibaki being the president and Raila being the prime minister. If I may ask for real, do you think it is that easy to make two opponents who are vying for a very high post to get to agree, to get to be in equal terms? Is it that easy? It is not. It actually needs that experience. Another example is Captain Kinuthia. Captain Kinuthia was entrusted to fly KQ to New York. This was directly, and it took 11 hours. This is after 42 years of his service in the Kenyan Airways. We get that he joined Kenyan Airways when he was 21 years old. 21 years old. He was a youth by then. But by that time, none of us ever heard of Captain Kinuthia. But after 42 years, when he was now 65 years old, is when we get to hear that he was able to make the flight directly to New York. It is because he was more experienced. We had the youth there in the Kenyan Airways, but he's the one who was entrusted to make that flight. In conclusion, I want to say that leadership is not by trial and error. We are not taking chances here. We need people who are experienced, who will make our country to develop, people who will make decisions and know the impacts of those decisions on the subjects because they themselves have experienced life away from leadership. Anguzuzu Valerie, Lugulu Girls High School. Thank you.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal.
Well. Let me inform you about one thing. I, as the queen of the jungle, I'll never be subjected to eating grass, even if there's famine. It's not pride, it's just who I am. By the way, a person who never make a mistake, never tried anything new. Albert Einstein, that's not my name. But I'm driven by the man's ego to strongly propose the motion that say, strict age regulation should be, I repeat, should be enforced to ensure the youths get leadership position. You talk about the post-election violence, a moment of silence for our befallen heroes. Why should we have a moment of silence for our befallen heroes? Yet, you're talking about Raila and our President Uhuru Kenyatta. By the way, they are not youths. But the youth, have you ever wondered why the youths are out in the streets fighting for their rights every day? That's because we have the leaders who lead the youth, but they actually don't get 100% of that quality to express what the youth wants. Every day the youth are out there expressing their feelings, but they're not even listened to. Why? From the year 1963 and today, 2019, believe me, I've never seen a president in Kenya who is 35 years and below. If I'm wrong, you can tell me. And by the way, because of the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, I say a youth is a person, and I mean any person from the age of 15 years to the age of 35. So I wonder, why did you get these 34 years? But I don't blame you, because actually someone is not thinking. Because I know common sense is never common to common Africans, but I believe I'm special. And to my first point, our elderly leaders are affected by the 5 Ps. What do I mean by the 5 Ps? Power, popularity, prestige, priority, and property. Take for example, on 15 September 2019, over 1,000 Protestants, and I mean 1,000 Protestants, gathered in Kinshasa to demonstrate against Joseph Kabila's attempt to take power again after his 2-term limit was over. Not because he felt like the constitution doesn't allow him, but he felt like he has the power to do so. Did he really consider about the youths? In March, for instance, Burundi's president, Pierre Nkurunziza, announced his intention to run for the 3rd time, even after his 2nd-term limit was over. Is that really being fair to the youths? Actually, they're driven by the 5 Ps, and that's what I am talking about. The youths are PISC. What do I mean by PISC? Productive, innovative, inventive, skilled, and creative. According to the Forbes magazine 2019, we talk about Mark Zuckerberg, who invented the Facebook. We talk about Khloe Kardashian, one of the renowned families in the world. She is the founder of cosmetics in the world, the leading one, and I mean the leading one. So I invite you, the whole, to help us join in this convention, in the invention of the new rule that strict regulations should be enforced for the youths to get leadership positions. Thank you.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for cross-examination.
My name is Caroline Awor Odongo, Lugulu Girls High School, and I stand to oppose the motion that says strict laws should be enforced to allow the youths get leadership positions. You say that the youths are skilled. If we recall the 2017 elections, we know exactly what happened. But for those who don't know, I will tell you. There was a disagreement between His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. But because of the skills that the people advanced in age have, he decided to initiate the handshake. And since that day, the country has actually recorded business climate of stability. You still say the youths are skilled? Even the advanced age, or the advanced people, the people advanced in age, are still skilled. Let me also enlighten you on something. Old people have a proven track record. And when track record leaders speak, people follow because they have record achievements of getting things done. This microphone seems to be echoing some noise in your ear. Let me be authentic to you by telling you this, that Michael Joseph, the former CEO of Safaricom company, started that company when there were 5 people in a platform. And today, not really today, but the time he left Safaricom company, he left 4,500 people. That is something that we need to consider, that these people, they have a track record. And that is why we are not taking chances with the youths. We are not doing some trial and error game. We need people who can do things, who can get things done. A new dawn is beckoning. The tides are changing. We are not going to sit back and look at the youths become jumpy and mess up. We need people who are going to lead us to the right direction. We don't just need good, youthful leaders. We need best leaders. Caroline Awor Odongo, Lugulu Girls.
The proposers have been asked to clarify how exactly it is that the youth have led to the development of South Africa. The opposers, on the other hand, have been asked. They initially stated that leadership is not about trial and error. So the audience is asking, should all the professionals who have graduated out there wait until they're 65 years old, like Captain Kinuthia, to seek employment and become leaders in their fields? Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm highly allergic to the rumors being spread by my opponents. I remember my old physics teacher very right when he said, he insisted to me that light travels faster than sound. Now I get it. Some faces appears brighter only before you hear them speak. Somebody asks, how do youth lead to development in South Africa now? The parliament in South Africa, a quarter of it is filled with the youth. Just some basic knowledge in history and government. Legislature makes and amends the laws. Before a law is passed, people from the legislature have sat down and passed the bill. So before a development takes place, it must pass through the parliament, where the youths have sat down and passed the bill. Somebody boasts no acquaintance to the listening skills. It was dated 15th September 2018. There's a difference between the 8 and the 9 after 201. On to my first point. Youth advance current technology, education, peace, and politics of the country. The World Health Organization, late last year, awarded Omar, 18 years of age, after she founded the Safari World Doctors to provide basic health organization for the conflict-ridden Lamu County. Now, this organization deploys medical teams to indigenous communities using combination of boats, motorbikes, and vehicles. Now, where were the elders, leaders of this society when all this was taking place? Are they used to be the beneficiary of the youth development, or are they to be participants of the youth-led development? Do you have an answer to that? I bet you don't. Sahil Arora, 18 years, CEO Tabvat, helps in advertising in taxis in India. I mean, where are these elders, leaders in India to do this work? The proportion of Kenyan youth to the population is among the highest globally, presenting the economic with a vibrant manpower if put to productive use. Now, when these youths are placed in leadership positions, such as the CEOs, managers, directors, they are innovative, they are creative, they come up with things that, they come up with things. I know you're getting me, right? Lack of youth-based leadership and employment breed to crime and social vices. Corruption, theft, bribery, drug trafficking, all this are pinned down to youths. Why don't we give them this opportunity to lead us? Why don't we make them wear the shoes of leadership and let them feel the pinch of leading people so that they can come up with ideas and stop these vices? Finally, do not follow where the path lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Berida Stephanie from the St. Cecilia Nangina Girls High School, rest my case. Thank you.
Third opposer, you have 3 minutes to respond to your question.
Nothing comes on a silver platter. You need to show your competence. You have asked a question that these young people, should we wait for them to get to 41 or 65, like Captain Kinuthia, for them to take up leadership positions? Let us look at it like this. Kinuthia started when he was 21. That was very well, but we did not get to notice him. He went to work, got his salary. That does not mean these people do not get this employment or even their salaries. But we did not have to notice him by then. We did not know that someone like him ever existed. We came to know of him after he was entrusted to fly the plane for 11 good hours. If he was 21, do you think I will just sit down and tell someone who is 21 years old to fly a plane 11 good hours to Europe or to maybe a country outside Kenya? Let us also take a look at this. Being a youth, as I've said, doesn't mean you lack a job. Having a job and being a leader are two different things. Get that right. They are two different things. When you look at this, let us look at a good example of the doctors. You do not expect me as a patient. I go to the hospital. I find a doctor who's about 21 years old, and you tell me this doctor is going to carry on a neurosurgery on you. I'll just look at you and ask you, how long has this person been in this field? Is he or she experienced in this? Can he or she operate on my head and I'm guaranteed that this person is going to make me get well? Let us look at an example of someone advanced in age. You look at this person and you see this person. He has done this job for many years. So that means he's so experienced here. So there's some sense of competence in these older people, or the advanced in age, I might say. We have some competence in them. They deliver results. Someone once said, the best way to handle power or leadership is to fail, or let me just rephrase it, sorry. The best way to handle power is to fail to realize that you have it. Because when you realize that you have the power, you become jumpy. By the time you realize you need to slow down, it's too late. You can't do anything about it. I am a young leader. I realize I can lead. Yes, I can lead. I can do whatever it is I want to do. Let us take a good example of the president, or might say the prime minister who was elected in Libya after the death of Muammar Gaddafi. Since the leadership of Muammar Gaddafi, we had people who are being taken care of. We look at the orphans. Let us look at the widows also. They were well catered for. But after this young leader called Ali Zedain took his position, he focused more on development. And this development, what good does it bring to our community? If we have developed countries, we have everything developed, but our people are suffering. We are there for the leadership positions because of these people. These people elected us. These people want us to lead them. They want competence. They want results. Valerie Inonda, Lugulu Girls High School.
Proposers, you have 1 minute to make a final submission.
Well. Let me remind you about one thing. A home without rules and regulations is like a dump site. I hope not to see one when I meet you. You say you need best leaders, and you know what I say? I say the best leaders are the youths. A round of applause for the youths. Remember, old Simeon in St. Mark's Gospel, by the way. What did he say when he saw Jesus during his dedication? He said, now I can die in peace. Why did he do that? Because he believed that now his generation could now be passed to the young, and that was Jesus. He believed that the tomorrow could now be led by the young. And you know what? Powerful dreams are in the hands of the youth, if you only give them a chance. When I got into this hall, I saw you as prospective wives, an in-law to my mom and my sister-in-law. But, oh God. But I never came to realize looks are deceiving, by the way, but they won't deceive me. For now I know that I am Ashley Maggie from the great St. Cecilia Nangina Girls, and I was your captain today in this great voyage. And for now, my ship is docked. Game on.
Opposers, you have 1 minute to make a final submission.
According to the motion, strict age regulations should be enforced to ensure that youth get leadership positions. We need people who can bring results back to the community. We need people who can bring results back to our society. We don't need people who are still laying a foundation for their life, do we? Will they take us anywhere? And even if they take us anywhere, even if they bring development to our country, it is not going to be that much, because these are people who are advanced in age. Their life is already stable. So it means they'll concentrate a lot on bringing development to our country. Not just development, but much more development. Young people who are still laying their foundation, on the other hand, will somehow tend to focus more on stabilizing their life together with bringing development to our country. So we need these people who are advanced in age. To add on that, People who are advanced in age have emotional control compared to young people who are just driven by peer pressure. You know, mostly the young people, once they're told to do something and they see that that thing is going to benefit their age mates, then they're going to do it at the cost of the country itself. So we need people who are advanced in age, people who can actually stand firm on their 2 feet and make decisions without necessarily being driven by the crowd, who can make decisions when they know very well that the decisions are going to bring a positive impact on the society. Lastly, I want to leave you with this, that old is gold. Think about it. Thank you.
Actually, you went as far as giving a negative comment to the opponent. That is a derogatory remark about them. Debates are about intellectual presentations, and you should avoid using such to bring out what you intend. Same thing that happened when Stefania Berinda was nearing at them, but in the beginning, having made negative rebuffs about personality and about the use of the brains, especially on your opponent. We feel that we should be more cautious in our presentations. The other side, we need to take care of time. And therefore, we need to ask the team to be aware of the minutes. You don't need to wait for 3 bells for you to wind up. This is important. I want to also submit the fact that your argument was in order. Thank you so much.
Saint Cecilia, Nangina Girls High School. The judges awarded you 67.5%. Let's give them a round of applause. 1% difference only in this debate. Lugulu Girls High School. The judges awarded you 68.5%, making you the winners of this debate. Congratulations to both schools for a job well done.
The debate may be over, but the conversation is still live and active on our social media platforms with the hashtag GDC for SDGs. We'd like to challenge each and every school to pick up at least one sustainable development goal and implement it in their schools so as to bring change not only in their communities but as a country at large. Until the next episode, I've been your host, Chris Bodu.
And I am Esperancia Kapanga.